everybody. We're here to tell you a little story about how we made it through the beginning parts of the horribleness of the pandemic. So I'm sure over the last year and a half, you have heard your fair share of stories. We're here to tell you about how we made it from week to week and our family that became Fridays at 5.
My name is Jimmy Olevson, best banker in town.
Shauna Olevson, best teacher in town.
So if you come to Old Ox on any type of regular basis, you probably have seen my wife and I here, along with our two little girls, CJ and Kennedy, typically over there in the corner, sometimes outside, doing hopscotch and whatever else. I tend to think that I'm an owner of Old Ox, but I am not. I am their banker. I'm a community banker. My wife's a teacher with Loudoun County Public Schools. Over the years, we have become good family friends with the actual owners of Old Ox, Graham and Marianne Burns, their son, Chris, and his wife, Kristen, or as our girls lovingly call them, Uncle Chris and Aunt Kiki.
But we're not here to talk about any of that, although if you would like to hear the story of how Uncle Chris got his nickname BCB, we can talk to you about that afterward, because that's a good one. But if you want to spill the Old Ox tea with us afterward, we'll stick around.
So March 16th, 2020, the world changed. Right? If you remember, there was no planes in the sky, hardly any cars on the road. A large portion of our paycheck was going to the local ABC store, and our downstairs bathroom became my wife's classroom. The words that were repeated over and over again on every radio station and the TV channels were unprecedented, pivot, and washing your hands, which still confused me because I'm like, why are in 2020, when we thought we were going to have flying cars, are we now having to tell people to wash their hands? So I never understood that part. Old Ox also decided to shut down their tap room. And as I said, I'm a community banker, so a lot of businesses in the community are my clients and friends, so calling, texting, emailing me, of like, what are we gonna do, what are we gonna do? Old Ox, like many breweries, started to deliver beer. We definitely took advantage of that and did our part. But competition was high. Every brewery and winery started to deliver beer. So to try to get ahead of the game and do something different, Uncle Chris Burns, he called and said, hey, would you guys, like as consumers, would you pay $20 to have beer delivered with a song sung by some guy, Nathaniel Davis, and Davis Music? I said, sure, right? Anything to be outside, not have the TV on, why not? So we placed our order, and I started thinking about, okay, when are we gonna have the beer delivered? Remote work was new for me, and there was no start of the day or end of the day. It was just constant on. And I don't fault my clients and whoever else for calling and emailing at whatever time worked for them, but a mental break had to be needed. That was not sustainable to be working every single time, having, kind of eating with my kids while my computer's up and you got the news on. So I looked at the calendar and had the delivery set for March 20th, Friday at 5.
So the first delivery of many came that night. And we set my phone and we recorded it because we're like, oh, this will be really good for Old Ox. We can put this video out there. So that delivery came. And in the little frame you see of our video, which went kind of viral, like maybe viral, just a smidge, you see Chris walking down with a case of beer and then a blow-up shark walking down behind him because that was part of the package. Yeah, and then Nathaniel Davis came with his guitar, just a guitar. And we're all just standing out front. It's March, we're bundled, and we're just enjoying the fact that there's people, right? Remember that feeling of like, there's no people anywhere? We had people in our front yard. So we're hanging out. Nathaniel Davis starts playing All About That Bass, which is my daughter's favorite song. She's 6. And you see in the video, my daughter just starts crying, huge, 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 huge tears. And I rush over, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's injured, like what happened? And I said, CJ, what's the matter? And she says, I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy because everything was so scary, You couldn't turn off the news. Everything was really, really scary. So she's crying hysterical tears that there's just somebody in our front yard and there's people. And that was our very first, little did we know, Fridays at 5.
And so that was just the beginning. We wanted more of that feeling, right? Of just being outside, having fun, doing something that we'd never done before. We'd never hired a solo guitarist to come sing on our front lawn. So I went over to Nathaniel Davis, who I'd never met, and said, hey, what are you doing next week? Because I'm thinking maybe you can come back. If you have time, you play for an hour, and we do a lawn concert out front. What is your schedule like? And he kind of laughed, but sadly, he's like, I'm open. Right? The weddings were postponed, venue shut down, no large gatherings. I said, okay. So I emailed a couple neighbors, and at the time, we only knew, really knew, probably 2 of our neighbors, and Jen and Jerry are here right now. And I said, hey, everyone else in the neighborhood was kind of just like a friendly wave on your way to work or on your way out to do whatever, an errand. So I emailed a couple neighbors and said, would you guys want to chip in for some beer and some Killer Tomato, which is a local food truck, really good food, and said, would you guys want to chip in and come over for a lawn concert for an hour? And they were like, yeah, sounds great. Never done that before. So they sent me their order, PayPal'd me the food, or PayPal'd me the money, and that March 27th, they came over Friday at 5, and we did our concert. And then that became a thing. Every Friday at 5 was our thing. We'd email out, Monday or Tuesday of, hey, send me your food and beer order, get it placed, and see you, bring your lawn chairs or fold up chairs, which ended up just getting left in our garage, which was totally fine. But they started, and the concert started to get bigger, right? Because people started hearing live music and what's going on? Because everything was so quiet. So people started coming out. We posted some stuff on Facebook. Lori's here because she saw us hey, when do I get the invite? So she saw something. We said, great. People would be on their family walks and would stop and listen for a song, so I'd go over and get their emails, and I added them to distribution list, and we just got bigger and bigger. Probably too big. One concert, my wife gets a little anxiety sometimes, so one time we had way more people than we probably should have. And so the night before, she's like, I don't know what we should do. We should probably cancel this. I'm like, no, we're not canceling. So we drew a map of our front lawn, which is not big, and we started writing down where the families would be and where people, so as they arrived, we're like, welcome, you're across the street. Welcome, you're over here on the sidewalk. And because we wanted to be respectful and socially distant, but we didn't want to say, no, you can't come over and have fun with us. So a little too big, but we made it work.
So those concerts continued for 25 consecutive Fridays at 5. Yeah. Eventually, those turned into Sunday brunches. They turned into kids' birthday parties. I would be lying if we said that the cops didn't get called on us a few times, but all is well, because even though the cops did come, we do have a love story that came out of that. One of the police officers that came and stopped by to our front lawn is now dating one of our Fridays at 5 friends.
Matt Santmy, right there.
Yeah.
We called them the Schmoops.
So we've had so much fun with people that were living next door to us that we didn't even know were around us. People would walk by. We felt like we had put this beacon of light in our front lawn, and it was just drawing like-minded people to us. And we were just like, hey, come have a beer, come sit with us, come be among friends, just come hang out with us. So much so that now our children are like, when's the next pandemic? That was so much fun.
So for weeks, if not months, Fridays at 5 was what the motivation many of us, but I'll speak for me, I needed just to get up on a Monday and be like, okay, I can do this. I can get through this work week. And it worked. And it's still ongoing today. So we did 25 in a row. Last weekend or 2 weeks ago, we did number 40. I can tell you how much we put back in the local economy because, as I mentioned earlier, people would PayPal me I just do one order and they would PayPal me and we settle up and whatever. So much so that PayPal thought we were a business and we got hit with a 1099 and had to pay taxes on the income, which was fine. But to date, we've put back in just over $20,000 back into Loudoun County.
We, as a family and just as people, really believe in small businesses, and so we wanted to make sure that we were supporting all of our families and friends that were really struggling during that time. So when we would have people come to the front yard and we would buy food from just different companies and made sure that they were all small businesses. So small businesses, we see you, we appreciate you, we love you. So thank you so much for everything that you do. We want to end our time up here tonight. One of our Fridays at 5 family members commissioned Nathaniel Davis to write a song about our group. In this song, you're going to hear some inside jokes about me, maybe not so sober, playing the flute to Journey in our front lawn. One of our friends, Glenda, you might want to try this on a plane. She wine soaks grapes and takes them on a plane with her. So if you ever want to try that, so you don't have to pay for booze on a flight, you can do that. But I didn't tell that to you. So, oh, and Stacy's mom has got it going on. If you remember that song, that's like our initiation song. So every mom has had that song played for her, except we made it about her, and it's been really awesome. The kids love that one. So at this time, we're going to have Nathaniel Davis play our 5 Days at 5 song, and that will lead us right into intermission. And in the words of my husband, slancha bitches.
There's ice in the cooler, seats across the yard. All of my friends are here to party from 6 feet apart. We got grub, we got booze, we got nothing to lose. Singing songs that go straight to the heart. We'll be singing ass in the lawn chair, toes in the clay. We got wine-soaking grapes, Glenda's getting drunk on a plane. Country roads take me home, where I know I belong, with the ones that I love. Hold on, speed in my cup, singing life is good today. So here's to the good times, here's to great friends, here's to the party that never ends, and all the little things that make it sweet to be alive. So crank out the tunes, crack open the beers, lift up your voice, shout out and cheer, for all the little things that make it sweet to be alive. You know we're living every week for Friday at 5. Waiting all week long for cold beer on a Friday night. You know Jimmy will be spreading fire, shaking his hips to a little chicken fry. And CJ gonna meet us in the middle, and her mom has got it going on. Shauna pulls out the flute, blows open the room, rocking it out to your favorite journey song. So here's to the good times, here's to great friends, here's to the party that never ends, and all the little things that make it sweet to be alive. So crank out the tunes, crack open the beers, lift up your voice, shout out and cheer, for all the little things that make it sweet to be alive. You know we're living every week for Friday at 5. For Friday at 5. Oh yeah. It's not a date, it's not a time. Friday at 5's a state of mind. With your friends all around you are your riches. So grab your drink, raise your glass, come on now, get them off your hands. And just like Jimmy said, sing with me, slancha bitches. So crank out the tunes, crack open the beers, lift up your voice, shout out and cheer, for all the little things that make it sweet to be alive. So here's to the good times, here's to great friends, here's to the party that never ends, and all the little things that make it sweet to be alive. You know we're living every week for Friday at 5. You know we're living every week for Friday at 5. Friday at 5. Oh yeah. Cheers, y'all. Thank you.